Thank you very much for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to start the Innovative City Forum. This is a global forum to discuss designing the future for global cities and lifestyles. Noted authorities from both Japan and abroad who stand out for their advanced accomplishments will gather at ICF to look at the themes of high technology, urban development, and art and creativity crossing national and intellectual boundaries to discuss and exchange information and learn from one another. This is the first day of the Innovative City Forum, sponsored by the Japan Foundation Asia Center and Mori Art Museum. The new relationship between art and the city as seen in Asia will be the theme of the first session. We'd like to call upon the president of Japan Foundation, Mr. Hiroyasu Ando, to say a few words. Over to you, Mr. Ando. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As has been introduced, I'm president of the Japan Foundation. Now, we're able to hold this Innovative City Forum special session in this new center of Tokyo, Toranomon Hills, and I'm very happy that this is taking place. On the 10th of October, we'll be celebrating the 50th year after the Olympics were held in 1964 in Tokyo. The bullet trains, Tokaido Shinkansen started service, the expressways were built, and the National Sports Stadium was built. Japan was rebuilt after the war, and it was a milestone year when Tokyo was about to be reborn as a new city. Toranomon Hills, the place of this forum, leverages overpass roads, a 3D road structure. It's a innovative project, that is what I am told, to leverage the potential of the land and to create a new city space. I think this is a new attempt. I think this is a very appropriate place to have this Innovative City Forum. So what does it mean to be innovative? To talk a little bit about myself, at the end of last year, I changed to a smartphone from an ordinary feature phone, and I struggle to use the Facebook, and I communicate with the people in my company. So it's very hard to catch up with innovation. A person that invented the smartphone, an innovative visionary, Steve Jobs, gave a speech at the commencement at Stanford University. He talked about how he grew up and how he struggled with cancer, and he talked about his philosophy of life. It was a very moving speech, and in it he talked about the need to stay hungry and stay foolish to invent new things, and that is what he told the students. To create new things, you shouldn't be bound by past ways of thinking or what others tell you or past customs and traditions or common sense or dogma. You need to go where your gut feelings tell you and where your heart tells you to go. And it's the same with cities. To be a new town or city means not to be bound by old dogma, to be open to new ideas and diverse thinking. As a city, the city has to be hungry and foolish. I think that is what it means. I have been a diplomat for over 40 years, and I have been posted to different cities of the world: Washington, New York, Manila, London, Rome. Each city had its own attractiveness, and I was stimulated in many ways. But I think the best city is Tokyo. It has the state-of-the-art city culture, and it has a tradition underpinned by a long history. And there's always something new being born, a new vitality being born. I want to communicate about the attractiveness of Tokyo and Japan very positively. At the same time, it's not only about communication. Through exchanges, it's indispensable that we introduce energy from outside. Asia is rapidly developing There are exchanges between lots of people and commodities and things, and it's not only the economy. Culturally, there are diverse developments. There have been exchanges between cities in Asia which have diverse history and culture. A dynamic energy is being born. At the Japan Foundation, in order to enhance exchanges in culture in Asia, we established the Asia Center in April of this year. Toward 2020, when the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympic Games will be held, we want to be very positive about promoting exchanges in culture in Asia, centered around Southeast Asia. The special session is about a new relationship between art and the city as seen in Asia. We will try to grasp the developments in Asia from the perspective of art, and we shall be exploring the potential that art has for the future of Tokyo and the cities in Asia. Those that will be speaking today are in the front lines of their respective fields, and we'll be looking forward to hearing from them. Last but not least, we should like to thank Mori Art Museum and its director, Mr. Nanjo, for proposing that we co-sponsor this session, and the Mori Building Company, who has been responsible for the overall planning of this forum. We'd also like to thank the panelists and the audience for coming today. With this, I'd like to close my opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Ando-sama.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ando.
それでは続きまして、
Next, I'd like to call upon the director of the Mori Art Museum, Mr. Fumio Nanjo, to say a few words. Mr. Nanjo, the floor is yours.
どうも。
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So many people from so early in the morning. I very much appreciate it. Starting from today, in the next 3 days, we're holding the Innovative City Forum. This is an international forum that was held for the first time last year, celebrating the 10th anniversary of the opening of the Roppongi Hills. We're looking at urban design, innovation, and art and creative industry. So from those 3 different perspectives, we have gathered experts from various fields. We're talking about the urban lifestyle in 20 years. How will people be living in 20 years? That is a topic that we will be discussing in this forum. Well, 20 years from now, the 60% of the world population is expected to be living in large cities. From statistical trends, that is what is projected. And if that is the case, then urban environment, lifestyle, including culture, is going to profoundly impact the well-being of human beings. Now, in this session, we're joining up with the Japan Foundation, Asia Center, Mori Art Museum, and the Mori Memorial Foundation. So we have many, many speakers from mostly Asia. And we're talking not just about urban development, but the role of the creative industry and the relationship between art and the city. So we're going to hear various case studies. We're going to hear new visions around those subjects. Now, Tokyo is going to host the Olympics. And that is a big topic in Tokyo and in all of Japan. Toward the Olympic Games, there's going to be the Cultural Olympiad. So that there are going to be many, many cultural events with the Olympics in mind. And if you look at London, there were as many as 1,000 cultural events held prior to the or in relation to the Olympics. And so we're going to hear about art that permeates into the city, which are all very interesting. I think that is going to be very instructive. in designing various cultural programs as we approach the Tokyo Olympics. Now, along with this forum, this is just additional information. There are several symposia and fora taking place. So Mori Art Museum and Tate Modern joined together to organize a symposium. So it's jointly organized by Mori Art Museum and Tate Research Center, Asia Pacific, titled Trauma and Utopia. So we're looking at the art history since the end of the war in Japan. That's taking place in another venue. And then there's a Future City symposium organized by the publication Wired. So this is the second innovative city forum, but you can see that it is now developing and growing. And so in the the art history session, I think there are still some vacancies. I think the Wired is completely subscribed, so please join them if you're interested. So I want to thank the Japan Foundation and its Asia Center who have co-organized this, and also many companies, many individuals and organizations have provided cooperations. I want to thank them deeply for their assistance. When I make this kind of a speech, it sounds very formal, but we're now going to have a lot of discussions, so I hope that you will relax, and so that you can fully absorb the contents. Although this may be irregular, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to do a survey here. Now, you have this little device distributed to you with buttons. Do you know how to use it? Well, if you do, I would like to ask you a question. So the first question: do you think art should permeate more into the city? Well, maybe you don't know what that means until we have discussions about it, but there are terms like public art. So you have sculptures in various public spaces. I think that's one example, but another example would be like in Roppongi, there's the Roppongi Art Night, just one night only. More than 100 artists participate, and art is placed everywhere in the city. So that kind of event is also another example. Do you think that this kind of the art permeating into the city, do you think that that should happen? If you think yes, press 1, press 2 if you think no. If you don't know, if you're not sure, press 3. Go ahead, please. I'm using this for the first time. So 64, what does that mean? Is that the number of yeses? Someone tell me, please. So it's gone up to 68. Is there anyone who understands how to operate this? I see. I should ask all the questions first. Is this the number of yeses? You'll soon get the results. Okay, we're waiting the results. So when the number stops. Okay, so this is the result. So quite a large number of you said yes. Some said no. Are you sure you wanted to participate in this forum? Next question. So art using technology, do you think that will develop further? Well, in today's discussion, there's going to be a lot of mentioning of art using technology. So when you put art into the city, new technologies are very effective and very useful. So what do you think? Do you think there will be more art using technology? Do you think that art is something that should be made by hand, that you should not use technology? I'm sure that many of you feel that way. So if you think that way, do say no. Or if you just want painting and sculpture and you think that projection is not art, press no. Well, what's the result? Well, you think that technology should develop even in art. So third question, do you think progress is necessary for culture? I think this is a tricky question. So is progress necessary for culture? So in English, it's termed progress. So to evolve, to become new, to move forward. So avant-garde is a term in art. So history is always evolving. Based on that historical perspective, then art must also change and become new. Well, that's one perspective that's available. But then there's the other perspective. Maybe in the Asian countries, there was like a reincarnation, you moving in cycles and you go back to where you were. That kind of historical perspective also has existed. So let's see what people think. Well, I think many people want progress. So this is how you view it. And maybe we won't have some opposing views in today's discussion, and I breathe a sigh of relief. But I think this was quite an interesting exercise to gauge what you are thinking. So we did this little exercise. And at the end of today's discussion, I would like to ask the same questions again. So that was an unusual, unconventional opening remark, but with that I close. Thank you very much.
南條館長、どうも
Thank you very much, Director Nanjo. Next, we have many guests who have come from all over the world. On behalf of the guests, I would like to ask the Acting Minister and Permanent Secretary, Minister of Culture of Thailand, Mr. Apinan Poshyananda, please.
Good morning. Mr. Hiroyasu Ando, President of the Japan Foundation, Mrs. Yoshiko Mori, Chairperson of the Mori Art Museum, Mr. Hiroki Fuji, Chairman of the Mori Art Center at Salon, Mr. Fumio Nanjo, the Director of the Mori Art Museum, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the speakers and visiting guests, it is a great honor to be at this Innovative City Forum, Design Life for Future. Please may I congratulate the organization of such a significant international conference. This year's forum looks to be a truly profound meeting. The hosting of this forum is indeed timely, given the rising spirit of creative cities and creative economy. The various topics to discuss in the context of designing the future of cities and urban lifestyles will be most valuable for our complex and confusing world. 10 years ago, I recall attending the inaugural exhibition, Happiness, a survival guide for art and life at the Mori Art Museum. Indeed, it was a historical occasion with international and Japanese artists attending in force. Roppongi Hills was transformed into exciting cultural playground of daring excitement. I had the honor to meet both Mr. and Mrs. Mori, whose tireless effort transformed Mori Art Museum into an international art center, making Tokyo one of the leading innovative cities in the world. Mr. Minoru Mori's vision to make Roppongi Hills the heart of Tokyo's urban magnetic power comprised of his shrewd thinking in urban regeneration. Art Triangle Roppongi has become the cultural heart of Tokyo. More importantly, Mori Art Museum and Roppongi have become international cultural destination. In placing Mori Art Museum on top of the 52nd and 53rd floor building, Mr. Mori wrote, and I quote, "I wanted people who saw contemporary art to also take a hard look at Tokyo as it stands now. If nature was created by God, works of art and cities were created by humans. Both contemporary art and the city were created in our present time. I wanted people to look at both sides of our times. What would they feel? What would they think? This was quoted from Mr. Mori's book, Mori Building, The Making of Vertical Garden Cities. Mr. Mori's innovative thinking has left a historical landmark as Roppongi Hills advertises Tokyo to the rest of the world. Through Mori Art Center Tokyo, as magnetic power has been packaged and promoted, its branding has been most popular in Asia and the world. Visitors who visit Tokyo are obliged to be on the 52nd and 53rd floors of the Mori Tower to have their selfies and group photos taken as they view trendy art exhibitions. Cities become innovative only when creative people create them. Creative thinkers and initiators like Mr. and Mrs. Mori form a creative class of people so that society benefit from cultural heritage in the aspects of promoting education, economics, and society, which conform to policies of municipality and city. The concept of combining heritage and contemporary art and design to add economic value, cultural assets, as cultural capital has been widely spread through creative economy. In 2012, at Thailand International Creative Economy Forum, TCEF, the title Grand to Ground, Capturing Local Value, Creating Global Impact, speakers from all over the world gathered to discuss the potential of creative economy from small and medium enterprises to grandiose concept of creative cities and cities of gastronomy. Co-organized by the UNESCO and WIPO, the World International Property Office, and Thai government's Ministry of Commerce, many issues related to idea, innovation, and intellectual property, as well as creative pulse and trend setting in creative economy were discussed. This year, there have been meetings related to creative cities and creative economy, such as Creative Cities Network held in Chengdu in China last month, Creative Design for Sustainable Development by UNESCO Cities Network, and only last week, Guggenheim Museum meeting in Bangkok with discussion on China and the new Guggenheim Museum in Abu Dhabi. Similarly, over the next few days, at this Innovative City Forum, debate and discussion on lifestyles, urban development, design, and the future of art in the city will be richly exchanged. And here, we should thank the Japan Foundation for tirelessly organizing the effort and making networking for artists, scholars, curators, architects, and creative thinkers over the years. As we interpret terms such as innovative city and creative city and the future of art and design for the city, let us pause and think of sustainable development and consequences of overzealous creation of city plans and designs to make cities overpopulated without risk management and without environmental concerns. Let us be shrewd and conscious of our interpretation of innovation in context of city development through art, design, and city planning. Because chaos and creativity can be synonymous, while innovation and destruction can also have similar meaning and end results. In the age of chaos and disasters, innovative city and creative city needs to be defined and expanded as we face with increasing frequency of natural and socio-political catastrophes that occur with sudden force and trauma. To be innovative, the cities also have to be adaptable to floods, deluge, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes, landslides, political unrest, plagues, epidemics, and wars. Allow me to conclude by underlining that cultural creativity, design, and lifestyle are closely linked with economic growth and creation of jobs and income, but must be under constant awareness of ecology, environment, and ethics. It is my hope that this Innovative City Forum will tease out new answers and ways to integrate imagination, knowledge, and culture so that we can improve the quality of our life and survival in the fragile and delicate world we live in. On behalf of the speakers and the visiting guests, I once again thank and congratulate the organizers for making this gathering of Innovative City a seminal and memorable meeting. Thank you.
Apinan-sama.
Thank you very much, Mr. Apinan, Poshyananda.